एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू आवर चैनल। तो उम्मीद है कि आप सब खैरियत से होंगे। बेसिकली आज इस वीडियो पे मैं रिएक्ट करने जा रही हूँ, उसका टाइटल है लाइफ इन इंडिया एज अ ब्लैक अमेरिकन। तो नो डाउट जिस तरह से हम काफ़ी ज़्यादा पर्सपेक्टिव लोगों के, पोलैंड्स के, यूके के, यानी डिफरेंट यूरोपियन कंट्री से बिलोंग करने वाले लोगों का हम पर्सपेक्टिव देख चुके हैं कि इंडिया के लिहाज से वो किस तरीके से सोचते हैं। और ना सिर्फ यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ के अलावा रीजन में जैसे कि पाकिस्तानी पर्सपेक्टिव भी हमें देखने को मिला, और जिससे काफ़ी ज़्यादा चीज़ें क्लैरिफाई हुई कि हम किस तरह से चीज़ों को देखते हैं और वहाँ पे जो एक्चुअल में लोग चीज़ें जाके देख रहे हैं वो किस तरह से उन चीज़ों को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं और अब हाँ अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस हमारे साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं। तो इस वीडियो को देखते हैं और देखते हैं फर्दर कि हमें क्या मज़ीद जो है वो नई चीज़ इसमें देखने को मिलती है। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट।
The rickshaw drivers are driving, and I'll be walking down the street, and their driver will be like this as he's driving. And I'm thinking to myself, can you please, you're gonna have an accident. Please stop.
This is Chana Kamer, an American from New York City. Half a year ago, she relocated to Mumbai, India. During our emotional conversation, Chana shared why life in Mumbai is quite similar to life in New York, what's her experience as a black person in India, and highlighted what makes dating with Indians so special. I'm Max, an entrepreneur and YouTuber. Let's go.
What was your expectations before moving?
Well, I had a friend who lived here, who worked here for a while, for several years. I think he was here 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And his advice to me was, prepare to be overwhelmed for the first 3 months, and then after that, you'll be fine. I never felt that feeling of being overwhelmed.
You never felt it?
No.
Oh,
I
interesting.
haven't. Yeah.
Because you're from New York, probably.
I'm from New York, and living here in Mumbai, it's a big city. So if you've been to any big city, a big city is a big city, right? So it's busy, the hustle, everybody's running around working all the time. And so I was just telling a friend that my life here is very similar to my life in New York.
Oh, really?
It's just in India.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
So I go to work every day, I come home from work, I go out with friends, I go to brunches, I go to parties.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of this, I go to the theater.
Yeah.
So I do all the same things here that I did back in New York. It's just in India.
What's the best thing about living in New York?
I would say the diversity of cultures. And I think that's one of the things that's helped me to adapt so easily here, is because I'm just so used to being surrounded by people from everywhere, all walks of life, all economic status, all ethnicities, from all over the world. Every kind of food that you want, you can get in New York. So it's, I can go anywhere and not feel completely lost.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the best things about New York, is its diversity.
What was your biggest cultural shock so far?
In this neighborhood, and I know this from someone that I work with who has family, and his family lives in this neighborhood or was from this neighborhood, that there are families that have been here for many, many generations. And there's a family here who have 3 cows. And so
basically cows, they belong to families.
Yes.
That's how it works here.
Well, these particular cows. And they take care of these cows because cows are sacred here.
Yeah.
And so they see the cows, if you walk around here enough, you'll see them, because they live literally around here. They have one of their spots where they kind of rest is right in front of this building.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll often come out or come home, and they'll be just hanging out in front of the building. Or walking up the road, you'll see them just, they're tied to the post or whatever. So I see them all the time. I've kind of adopted them. I think they're like my cows.
Yeah.
And so that's obviously something that you would see. And one day they were actually sitting outside of my apartment building, and I was coming from errands, and I had some flowers, and I stopped to talk to them, because I love animals. So I stopped to talk to the cows, and one of them was trying to eat my flowers. And they're just really sweet. They look at you. They have these beautiful, soulful eyes. And I realized, I didn't know that one day I was walking home, and the cows were there, and there was a woman walking past them, and she kind of like crossed herself like people do when they pass a church. So here, cows, that significance of them, of like the spiritual, religious significance is quite strong. And there was one morning when I was on my way to work, and I was in a rickshaw, and they were walking the cows, and they had actually a security guard walking with the woman who was walking with the cows, and like stopping traffic so that the cows could walk down the street.
Yeah.
So that's different.
Can you bear traffic?
I don't drive here.
Yeah.
So
of course,
it's fine for me.
Because
it's fine for me because I'm just sitting in an Uber. But I wonder, I actually do often comment, how do the people who drive for a living here, how do they do it? Because
It's a special skill.
like, how do they
have,
stay
yeah.
sane and calm and, you know, because it's just intense. There's no, like, there are lanes, but the lanes are a suggestion.
Are there lanes? It doesn't feel like
There
there
are. There's actually even lines in the street, but nobody cares.
Okay.
And the you know, you've got rickshaws and cars and everybody's trying to, and you've got scooters and motorcycles and everybody's trying to get ahead, you know, get to where they're going faster, cutting each other off. And I mean, it's just, and the honking. I'm from New York City and I've driven there, and that's, you know, I would never want to drive here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You recorded a memorable family event on your smartphone, but the video file size is too large for convenient sharing or storage. Or you've captured an incredible video on your high-end camera, but when you try to share it online, you encounter format compatibility issues. Don't worry, I've discovered the perfect way to fix that. Meet Wondershare UniConverter. It's the ultimate toolkit covering conversion, video optimization, DVD burning, and more. UniConverter works quickly while maintaining high video quality. Simply download the app and upload your first file. UniConverter will take care of the rest. It supports over 1,000 different formats, making it the easiest way to convert and compress your video files. Additionally, it offers many AI features like Smart Trio and Noise Remover, all of which are free. And especially for my viewers, UniConverter is hosting an exclusive giveaway. Comment "I want UniConverter" for a chance to win a free Wondershare UniConverter license for 3 months. We will select 3 lucky winners and contact you via email. See you in the comments below.
Is there anything that you start like enjoying here?
I think one of the things that is interesting that you can take advantage of if you choose to is not having to leave your house if you don't ever want to, because you can have literally everything brought to you. You can have beauty services, like everything. I could have manicures, pedicure, everything. Everyone will come to you to do everything.
And it's not expensive.
And it's not expensive, right?
Yeah.
It can be expensive, but you can also find it so that it's not expensive. But you know, you can, you know, water gets delivered, your everything, your food, groceries, wine. I have a wine delivery. The wine in like 20 minutes, I have wine delivered. So that's different. But I also like going out and kind of roaming the neighborhood because I'm at a point, I've been here long enough now, I think, that where people kind of realize, oh, she lives here.
Not a tourist, yeah.
Not a tourist. She's not a tourist. She lives here. Actually, I was having dinner at a little cafe down the street from here. Yeah. And I've been there frequently enough at this point where the waiter was like, so do you live here? I was like, yeah, I live here.
Yeah.
So it's nice. So I go out now when there's vendors selling produce, like stalls on the street and the corners and stuff, and I buy some of my produce from the vendors. And like now when I go out to run errands, like I feel like I'm Norm on Cheers. So I'm walking down the street, people are like, hi, everyone's like, hi.
Yeah. What's the difference in how people interact with each other on the street? I guess New York is because it's like a super busy. People don't really talk. Not interact with each other.
No. The people who work here do. But just people like just going about their day and about their business, no. But what you'll find is like like people who work in my building, you'll see the people who work for the families that live in this neighborhood. You'll see them all kind of hanging out, chatting and things all the time. So that they do interact. One of the things that's for me, and it's something I knew that would happen because I've heard of this experience. I haven't really experienced it a lot myself, is being stared at all the time, like everywhere you go. Some of it is, I know some of it's my hair because I've had people actually come up to me and ask me about my hair, talk about my hair, compliment me on my hair. Yes. So I know some of it is that.
That's sweet.
But some of it I don't know what, because you know you'd wonder. And it's often there was, you know, like every time I walk out of my building, and particularly interesting, the rickshaw drivers are driving, and I'll be walking down the street, and their driver will be like this as he's driving. And I'm thinking to myself, can you please, you're gonna have an accident. Please stop.
Because of me. Yeah, that's funny.
But I will say that for the most part, I haven't felt, oh my goodness, Tina. You guys can't see what Tina's doing right now. She really likes Max.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Tina Turner.
I like this.
You're gonna edit this video, right?
We'll leave it. You were talking that, so it's basically for like being a black American in India. It's like it's not very common. I guess.
Not at all. And so people don't assume that I'm from the U.S.
No?
Never, actually.
Okay.
Most often I get asked if I'm from Nigeria.
Specifically from Nigeria?
Correct.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
I don't know why, but that's always the first, like, if they say a place, often they'll just say, where are you from? But sometimes people will say, are you from Nigeria? I'm like, no.
How people react when you say you're from the U.S.?
Mostly just, you know, nothing, no. I have one person go, Biden. But aside from that, I say, oh, okay.
You feel comfortable here, or like because of the stairs? You kind of,
I just ignore the stairs, honestly. I don't allow it to bother me.
Yeah.
Because I find people stare, and then if I look at them, they'll avert their eyes really quickly. So it's not like some kind of a challenge or anything like that. Yeah. They're just like, oh my gosh, I've never seen a person who looks like that before. Yeah. And I look at them and they're like, oh, that's rude. So I tend to ignore it. No, I mean, I don't get any, advances or people saying things to me or anything like that. So I don't feel, I'm like, they can look all they want. Just keep the boundaries there, we're good.
I also have stairs. Like just now, I was working, and the rickshaw driver, he was doing something, and I was passing by, and then he did this, and so he was like literally following me, and then I started smiling at him, just on purpose, like smiling, and it took him like maybe 3-4 seconds to like smile back and start waving. I kind of wanted him to smile, smile me back.
So that's what I go through all the time. I was actually with a colleague of mine who is from here, and we were walking together, and she commented to me, she's like, "Is this what it's like for you all the time?" I'm like, yes, this is what it's like all the time. But I mean, I don't. It's not like I get stared at in New York. So
is it?
Yeah, sure.
It's like I mean, New York would be perceived rude if people stare.
I mean, you never know. I've been in many spaces, not just in New York, in spaces where I'm the only black person in the room. So I guess I'm kind of used to having reactions from people because I'm the only black person in the room, or the only, so I think that's part of why it doesn't bother me as much as it could bother me. I did some research about what it would be like being black in India because I was concerned that I might come here and people would treat me poorly. I had this idea of, like, oh, I'll never go on a date here. The Indian men aren't interested in dark-skinned women because there's a lot of, more value placed on lighter skin and that kind of thing. So that's not the case, by the way. I actually have been on more dates here than when I was back in New York, I have.
You tried dating Indians also?
I have dated, I've only, actually, the dates that I've been on here have been with Indian men, yes.
What's the vibe?
They're men. Same. I mean, for the biggest difference is just culturally, I think, and learning to understand the culture, and sort of having to, like, when I say something in my American English, does it mean the same thing here? Like trying to translating. It's like, oh, they speak English, I speak English, so it's the same, but it's actually not the same, right? Because the different words are used for different things. Words that I use that they don't use here, they don't even know what it means. So it's like there's a lot of, like trying to sort out what people mean when they say things, right? So that's with anybody, right? That you're communicating with that. It's from a different culture, a different country, a different part of the world. So that's part of the dating here too, is trying to sort all that out.
Is it different, like in terms of, like, let's say, who paid the bill?
Not for me. I mean, I have my own way. That's my way. So if it doesn't work for you, then we're not going to be able to date.
But it's like, for you, it's like, okay, you can, if I can ask, you share, or you let.
Oh, you're asking me. You're asking me. I don't go Dutch. Do not.
I'm just curious, like, if it's like cultural, if it's different here.
But I've talked to friends here who date, and they do. So it's just, everybody has their way. It's even like that back in the U.S. Like some people do that back in the U.S. too. I didn't do it there, and I don't do it here. That's just my way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the way, it's just my way.
Yeah, exactly. Can you compare social life here in New York, or maybe it's too early?
I have a better social life here than I had in New York.
Ah, how come?
Because I worked in New York City, but I didn't live in the city. I lived an hour north in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a big social circle of people where I lived. And so here, because I'm right in the city and I'm living in a busy part of the city where there's lots of social opportunities here. And then, you know, when people come here, they want to socialize, they want to meet people, expats, right? So I go out a lot. I go a lot more here than I did in New York.
Ah, that's cool.
And also there's a lot of things that are happening here culturally. I've been to theater here. Trevor Noah was here. You know, there's always two cultural centers here. So there's art exhibits, there's photography exhibits, there's, you know, performances. Like there's always something. And even like I went to a local improv performance like a couple blocks away from here. This little improv group that performs, and there's poetry slams, and there's so much going on here that you can always find something to do.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
In New York, you
Same.
do the same, yeah?
Yes.
What's any difference that you see?
Here, there's a different level, and even, you know, all my students, the students that I teach, the level of the respect level and how they view teachers is quite different than in the US, right? So it's actually, from a behavioral standpoint, it's easier here because you don't have some of the things that you might find, at least in New York. I can't speak for the whole United States.
Yeah.
So the kids are easier in that sense.
Can you like give an example?
Like, you know, I mean, you could work in some schools in New York City where the kids will curse at you, or you know, things like.
सारी वीडियो में बेसिकली हमें ब्लैक अमेरिकन वुमेन का एक्सपीरियंस देखने को मिला कि उन्होंने किस तरह से चीज़ें सारी एक्सपीरियंस की इंडिया में, और उन्होंने कंपैरिजन किया ऐसा मुंबई सिटी का न्यूयॉर्क सिटी के साथ। दोनों ही, जैसे कि हमें पता है कि मोर डेंसली पॉपुलेटेड सिटीज़ हैं, और इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क सिटी, सो इट इज़ बेसिकली 8.468 बिलियन पीपल वहाँ पे जो है वो एज आ पॉपुलेशन में हमें देखने को मिलते हैं। और अगर सोशल लाइफ के लिहाज से बात की जाए तो उन्होंने बताया कि जिस तरह से उन्हें काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिलेटेबल लगा मुंबई सिटी और न्यूयॉर्क सिटी का, क्योंकि दोनों जगह जो है वो सोशल लाइफ या बिज़ी और हेक्टिक सी रूटीन देखने को मिलती है सारी। और फर्दर उन्होंने जो है वो एक्सप्लेन किया कि सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ काउज उन्हें बहुत ज़्यादा देखने को मिली इंडिया के लिए, क्योंकि नो डाउट एज अ कल्चरल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो बहुत ज़्यादा अहमियत रखती हैं इंडियंस के लिए। उन्होंने जो है वो एज अ ड्राइविंग सर्विसेज को एक्सप्लेन किया कि वो ख़ुद पसंद नहीं करती कि वो इंडिया में ड्राइव करें, एज आ उबर वो यूज़ कर रही हैं, क्योंकि काफ़ी ज़्यादा हमें देखने को मिलता है कि वहाँ पर इम्पल्सिव सी सिचुएशन नो डाउट पाकिस्तान में भी इस तरह से देखने को मिलती है कि लेन्स वगैरह का इतना ख़ास ख्याल नहीं रखा जाता। फर्स्ट से सेकंड, सेकंड से थर्ड, थर्ड से फर्स्ट लेन में आप मूव कर रहे हैं जस्ट कि आपने घरों को जल्दी पहुंचना है, तो एज सच इस चीज़ों का ख्याल नहीं रखा जाता। और फर्दर उन्होंने बताया कि जो उन्हें फैसिलिटीज़ वगैरह थी वो ज़्यादा अच्छी लगी यहाँ पे, क्योंकि एक तो कॉस्ट वाइज भी उन्हें थोड़ी सी कम देखने को मिले, और उधर उन्हें जो है वो होम डिलीवरी सर्विसेज की बात की कि आपको ज़्यादा बाहर जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आप एज अ होम में ही जो है वो अपनी सर्विसेज जो है वो सारी अवेल कर सकते हैं। लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि शी पर्सनली लाइक्स के वो जो है वो चीज़ें वगैरह एक्सप्लोर करें बाहर जाके। और फर्दर जो है उन्होंने टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया कि उन्हें काफ़ी बेटर लगा इंडिया में एज़ कम्पेरिजन टू न्यूयॉर्क सिटी, क्योंकि नो डाउट न्यूयॉर्क सिटीज़ वगैरह में जो स्टूडेंट्स वगैरह हैं वो काफ़ी आपको एज अ जजमेंटल देखने को मिलते हैं कि वो टीचर्स वगैरह को काफ़ी ज़्यादा जज करते हैं, और कर्स वाली सिचुएशन अगर मैं ना शॉर्ट कहना चाहूँ तो वो चीज़ देखने को मिलती है। लेकिन उन्होंने इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स के बारे में बात की कि दे आर ईजियर टू हैंडल, क्योंकि एक तो उनका रिस्पेक्टफुल बिहेवियर सारा आपको देखने को मिलता है कि वो टीचर्स की काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, और ये उनकी कल्चर में भी चीज़ है, तो वो काफ़ी उनको अच्छी चीज़ लगी। और इन कंपैरिजन टू न्यूयॉर्क में इनके लिए ये एक्सपीरियंस काफ़ी ज़्यादा हार्श था कि वहाँ पे जिस तरह से स्टूडेंट्स वगैरह को डील करना पड़ता है। और फर्दर जो है वो उन्होंने स्टेयर्स का एक्सप्लेन किया कि ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पाकिस्तान में भी आपको देखने को मिलता है कि जिस तरह से आपको डिफरेंट जो है वो एज अ आयरॉनिक स्टेयर्स देखने को मिलती है, तो उन्होंने कहा कि उसका बेस्ट सोल्यूशन यही है कि आप जितना ज़्यादा चीज़ों को इग्नोर कर सकते हैं, तो वो आई थिंक इट्स द वन ऑफ द बेस्ट सोल्यूशन कि आप कोई भी चीज़ अगर आपको वो बुरी लगे तो आप उसको इग्नोर कर दें, ये सबसे अच्छा सोल्यूशन होता है किसी भी चीज़ का। और फर्दर उन्होंने अपना वर्किंग एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया कि एज अ इंडियन फ्रेंड्स के साथ उनका कैसा एक्सपीरियंस जा रहा है, और जो अमेरिकन फ्रेंड्स थी उनके साथ उनका कैसा एक्सपीरियंस गया। तो अगर मेजॉरिटी सेंस में देखा गया तो उन्होंने जिस तरह से एक्सप्लेन किया कि उन्हें चीज़ें काफ़ी आसान लगी एज अ मुंबई में इन कंपैरिजन टू न्यूयॉर्क। बाकी ये है कि इस सवाल से मज़ीद जो भी आपका पर्सपेक्टिव हो आप हमारे साथ कमेंट सेक्शन में शेयर कर सकते हैं, और अगर आपको वीडियोस पसंद आए तो डोंट फॉरगेट टू गिव अ लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब टू आवर चैनल। तो मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में।